The future of college football is not decided now by quarterbacks nor coaches. By the way, the future is not very good. And if you're a fan of anyone that is not an ultra-wealthy blue blood program, you really, if you care, and you may not, but you probably should get concerned about right now. There's a bunch coming your way, and it's all about lawyers. The game is not going to be decided by quarterbacks and coaches. It is now going to be decided by lawyers, and it's coming at everyone really fast. It's happening right now. Players aren't choosing schools based on, and I know you're going to say, well, this is old school. What is this, Ward? You're going to give us like a letter sweater speech? Not at all. I'm not. But are you sure you're a fan of this? Are you sure if you're a person that wants to watch Texas Tech or support Texas Tech or into all that stuff or Ole Miss or any of these mid-level programs that are not the ultra rich, but they would like to do well? Like you would like to see your school still do pretty well. You're in real danger of losing it all. It's about to crumble. And I guess we could see this coming, but I'm not sure people have wanted to pay attention. But does it change your mind? I don't know. If you want to watch Baylor, you want to watch Tech, fill in the blank of anyone that's not Texas, okay? Or an ultra-rich blue blood program. And that's a pretty small number. That's Texas, that's Michigan, that's probably Ohio State. I guess maybe USC, and there's maybe a few others, the ultra-rich blue bloods, because this is increasingly becoming a game few others can play, and now the lawyers have taken over. And it's almost like a feeding frenzy of lawyers on the college game. It really is. So players now aren't choosing schools based on the school. Laugh all you want. They're not choosing programs because of the campus. They're not choosing programs because of the city. They're not choosing programs because of tradition or proximity to home or even how much they win. They're deciding everything based on money. And not only that, once they pick a place, if they're not happy with it, not happy with the money, they're going to demand to get paid to stay, or they're going to go somewhere else where they'll pay them. And they're paying them just straight up, here, take this cash, kid, and go on. Well, this thing is kind of blowing up. I give you the poster child and the poster child story of the immediate future of college football. And you can decide. I keep wondering, yeah, I know it's like pro football, but it's not. It's not at all like pro football. It's not. People want to say it's like pro football, but it's light years away. And I'm just wondering at what point, if you went to school anywhere other than the ultra-rich blue blood Texas, would you start to kind of lose a connection? Would you start to say, you know what, I'm kind of sick of this stuff. I really, it's hard to be a fan when I have no idea who these dudes are or why they're even going to stay. And more than likely, they're not going to stay. And when they leave, they're going to sue us. They're going to sue you. Get ready for that one. They're going to sue you over the money. And you're going to lose, I think. And when you lose, you're not going to be able to afford it. That's where this is going really quickly. I give you new Georgia quarterback. He's at Georgia now. His name is Jaden Rashada. So Jaden and the lawyers have decided they're going to sue everyone along the way that didn't pay him what he wanted. I think, one, it's surprising this hasn't happened already. But number two, I think this opens the floodgates for other people to say, yeah, you know what? I thought we had a deal. I thought you were going to pay me $2 million or $5 million, whatever the price tag is. I thought I was getting a Lamborghini and not a Ford Focus. I thought I was getting this. And they're going to start suing you. They're going to sue the individual programs. They're not going to sue the NCAA. They're not going to sue whatever the fake governing body of college football is. They're going to sue your school, saying, we had a deal, man. Will they win? I don't know. I think they might. I think some of them might. Because this kid, is the poster child of where this game is going pretty quickly. And I don't know how many survive it. I really don't. So it is Jaden Rashada. He's a quarterback now at Georgia. He has filed a lawsuit against Florida and their head coach and a booster over a deal that he said went sideways. He transferred to Georgia. He left Florida when the deal didn't work out to he and his father's liking. They just decided, you guys told us, you ready for it? You told us we were going to get the first half of a $1 million payment. I guess they promised him $2 million, so they were supposed to get a $1 million payment, he and his dad. Florida they couldn't come up with it. And I think this is going to be a common occurrence. In fact, I assume this happens a lot. Fill in the blank program, not named Texas, says, yeah, we'll come up with the money, kid. Don't worry. Dad will come up with the money. Then they're not able to come up with the money. Not only is he going to leave, he's going to leave and sue you. And he might win. And when he wins, good night, goodbye. So this kid and his father have hired a lawyer. And I think this is going to happen a lot. He transferred to Georgia from Arizona State. He originally started at Florida. And he claims the commitment allegedly came with the promise of an 8-figure deal. When the deal fell apart, I said 8 figures. When the deal fell apart, he then said, I'm out of here. Per the lawsuit, Rashada, that's his last name, claims he was defrauded by Florida and that Billy Napier, the head coach, who's probably going to get whacked this year, promised his father a partial payment of $1 million at the time of signing. Here's what his lawyer writes. Sadly, unethical and illegal tactics like this are more and more commonplace in the Wild West that is college football's landscape. As the first scholar athlete to take a stand against such egregious behavior by adults who should know better, Jaden seeks to hold defendants accountable for their actions and to expose the unchecked abuse of power they shamelessly wield. Oh, gosh. That's dramatic. Oh, man. In other words, there are no rules in place. So people are promising stuff they can't deliver, which isn't all that surprising. They're promising stuff they can't deliver. And when they can't deliver on the giant payouts they've promised, then they're going to get sued. And I don't know how the suits play out, but when the suits play out, you can say goodnight to your mid-level programs. What are you going to do? How are you going to compete? How do you have any chance whatsoever? Now, on one hand, you could say, look, I don't blame the kid. If somebody promised him the front half of $1 million, which they promised $1 million, so I guess this is an 8-figure deal he had, allegedly. So on one hand, you could say, well, look, Jeff, of course he's got a point here. Hey, man, look, he's a mercenary. The sport is a mercenary sport with no rules. None. Zero. No accountability. And now they brought in the lawyers to fix it. And the lawyers are going to fix it by shaking football programs down, not to mention he sued the coach. The reason why he sued the coach is the coach has got money too. I don't think they survive. I don't think most of your programs survive this. I don't know how they could. I really don't. They don't have that kind of money. So he says, hey, I had a deal. You don't have the money? He left. Okay, he left. If that's, I don't blame him for that. So he leaves and goes to Arizona State. They don't have what he wants. He says, screw that. He then left there and went to Georgia. Now he and his lawyer decided anyone that made a promise, or we think started to make a promise, then we're going to sue them. Rashada, it's reported now by Yahoo Sports, is the first known lawsuit regarding deals in college athletics. You ready for this name? Are you ready for this name? Booster Hugh Hathcock. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that happened. Hugh Hathcock and his automotive dealership is also a defendant in the lawsuit. Now think about the possibilities of that. Okay? These lawyers are not going to miss any chance to find anybody with any dollars at all. So this dude and whatever other dudes are out there, the college football world is full of hangers-on. It's full of wannabe Jerry Joneses who say, you know what, man, it's cool to own a piece of this kid. It's cool to own a piece of a football program. I own the program. The coach doesn't. So these dudes come roaring in, and they're all over the place. And they say, hey, kid, we can pay you. Don't worry, we're good for the money. And then when they're not good for the money, the coach gets sued, the school gets sued, the athletic department gets sued, and the booster and their business gets sued. Now, before long, they're going to say, I'm out. And that'll leave just a few who can say, we can pay that. Our boosters are good for the money. We throw airplanes and Lamborghinis at players, and we're good for it. So you can see where this is going. Assuming he wins, I don't know. I don't know how long you want to fight this. If you're a coach or you're a booster or you're a school, how long do you want to fight this? So the great booster Hugh Hathcock and his automotive dealerships are also defendants in the suit. This comes after Florida became the subject of an NCAA investigation regarding Rashada's recruitment in 2023. Per the loose NIL rules that now govern college sports, schools are not supposed to use the prospect of NIL deals to entice recruits. Well, that's bogus because that is exactly how they're doing it, and it's exactly the reason why guys are choosing programs. So he flipped from Florida, so he was going to go to Miami. Miami couldn't meet his demands. Florida said, we'll meet your demands. He goes to Florida. They don't come up with all the money he promised. He and his dad say, screw that. Goes to Arizona State. Screw that. You don't have the money. And so he's just going to start suing everyone in the process. And I'll bet you he's not the only one. I'll bet you he's one of many. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if the lawyer in on this deal isn't out there actively recruiting others saying, hey, look, if you were screwed over, if you think you were screwed over by these college programs, just let me go after them. I'll shake them down. I'll get the money. Now, you could take either side of this. You can say they've got a right to come back and sue. Maybe. I don't know what kind of agreements are made. I don't think there's any agreements made. Or you can say, well, this is really slimy. They're just shaking down for money and then they're going to move on. True. Either way, your mid-level programs, even your good programs, are going to be out the money and out the time. And not only that, if I were a coach, and I know no one should have much sympathy for wealthy college football coaches, but if I were in that business, I'd start to get concerned and I'd start thinking seriously about doing something else. Because if you're going to get named in the suit, is it really worth it for you? So that's the sport you have now. Now, how many people are going to honestly say, you know what, I'm out, man. I'm out. I can't stand this. I have no idea. These dudes aren't even, is it really a college football program if the guys making the choices have nothing to do with the school itself? I mean, they're just wearing the gear just because it's where they are to get a paycheck right now. Oh, but it's just like pro football, Jeff. Yeah, it's not, because it doesn't have any rules. It doesn't have any rules. It doesn't have any agreements. It doesn't have any contracts. It has no cap. It has no revenue share. It has nothing. Nothing like professional football. And this is what you have to show for it now. Now the lawyers are going to dictate the future. They're going to decide everything. And I think the decision ultimately is going to be if these schools want out or they can't afford it, they're done, man. They're done. They can't afford too many of these lawsuits. I don't know what the out is for anybody. I don't know. I don't think they have one. And then hovering off to the side is going to be the 1, 2, or 3 places that can afford it all and say, cool, you guys get shake them down all you want. We're good for the money. So does it change the way people look at the game? Does it change if you're a fan of the game or you want to be into it? Does all that stuff change? I mean, you really think you're a fan of a pro football team that's masquerading as a college program? I mean, you're really a fan of that? There's no connection whatsoever. No connection. That player has no connection to the school, and the program itself has no connection to you. Is that really being a fan?